Elevations to everyone in the collective. I hope everybody has had an amazing day so far. It is Tuesday, October the 28th. So, if you caught the last night's live, Lord. If you caught last night's live, don't be like thrown back by my demeanor with that. What you caught me doing, remember, I'm very transparent. You caught me in a release mode, releasing the things that no longer serve me. Those were very much so true and hidden emotions that I rarely show, that I have rarely, that I rarely show the collective. Okay. I released those things and I didn't know at the time that it was a need for me, or I didn't know at the time that there was a need for me to release those emotions because they are blocking me for what it is that I truly want. And what I truly want is I'm ready for my love. I'm ready for my true love. And I'm going to be honest, like I'm ready for my true love. I'm ready to be all caked up, old term. I'm ready to be in loving energy, to be loved, feel loved, and love someone. Aside from my children, aside from myself, I've already been in that energy. Okay. I'm ready for my person. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth, collective. I'm ready for my person. My person will definitely be my great escape from the world, even though I if in when the time comes when I have my person with me or I am with them, vice versa, we still have to go out in the world, especially if you are like me. We still have to go out in the world and we have to deal with people and encounter people because that is what we're called to do. We still have to go out in the world and help heal people. We accepted the calling. Yay. Okay. So I really want someone to really, 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 really want my person. That's all I can say. I'm ready to love and be loved. I am open to love and be loved. Life has not been easy, but I have to know and believe that definitely there is a method to it all. I like helping people. I like being of service to people. And when it is called for, I will, as a last minute ditch effort, I don't really want to call it that, but we'll use that. I explode. And I don't want people to be afraid of me or anything like that. Last night was basically about the people who think that they are going to now work together and orchestrate some type of scheme, scam to now come into my life or come back or try to enter into my life. It's a no-go. They know who they are. I don't have to say their names. They know who they are. We're going to take it very slow today. Slow. Beautiful, beautiful book here. When Things Fall Apart it's Heart Advice for Difficult Times by Pima Chodron. Let me show you guys this. Beautiful book. Beautiful book. It helped me through my recovery when I was recovering from active addiction. This is chapter 2, When Things Fall Apart. When things fall apart and we're on the verge of we know not what, the test of each of us is to stay on that brink and not concretize. This is the word that is used. The spiritual journey is not about heaven and finally getting to a place that's really swell. Heaven is within us. It is what we make it. But again, just like we have to experience the darkness, the hate, the cruelty, the non-love or fake love, in order to know the opposite of those things, know what love is, know what fearlessness is, know what ambition is, we have to experience the opposite of. And on the opposite end, if you've always experienced love, you've always been a loving being, a light worker, bringer, bearer, a helping hand, you have to experience the darker side of that. They're the same things, just two opposite ends, universal law. So in this particular chapter, it states, and I'm going to read, so it may get a little boring, and then we'll go into the tarot. Okay. It states, nevertheless, when the bottom falls out and we can't find anything to grasp, it hurts a lot. It's like the Naropa Institute motto, love of the truth puts you on the spot. We might have some romantic view of what that means, but I am heavily affected by Mercury retrograde. Be mindful of that. So when it comes to communication and me speaking, yeah. And if you may notice, your girl has on pearls. You know, they say that diamonds are a girl's best friend. But I would like to give a rebuttal to that. Pearls are a girl's best friends when it comes to me, in respects to myself, with all respects to diamonds. Okay? So, we might have some romantic view of what that means. And when we are nailed with the truth, we suffer. We look in the bathroom mirror, and there we are with our pimples, our aging face, our lack of kindness, our aggression and timidity, all that stuff. This is where tenderness comes in. When things are shaky and nothing is working, we might realize that we are on the verge of something. Should it be a breakthrough? Maybe, possibly, more than likely. Okay. We might realize that this is a very vulnerable and tender place, and that tenderness can go either way. We can shut down and feel resentful, or we can or we can touch in on that throbbing quality. There is definitely something tender and throbbing about groundlessness. It's a kind of testing, the kind of testing that spiritual warriors need in order to awaken their hearts. Sometimes it's because of illness or death that we find ourselves in this place. We experience a sense of loss of our loved ones, loss of our youth, loss of our life. Things falling apart is a kind of testing and also a kind of healing. We think that the point is to pass the test or to overcome the problem, but the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together and they fall apart, period. This is a part of human evolution. Things come together. What goes up must come down. What goes out must come back. What you put out, what goes around comes around, right? So we're going to have moments in our life, collective. Remember this. We're going to have moments in our life, whether it be temporary or whether it be long term. They are never permanent. Never. This is why we must never become comfortable or in that self node. This is what you call getting too complacent in our self nodes, right? We must never get too comfortable in one moment because it is temporary. We can have a beautiful life, a beautiful lifespan, things work out well, and then things come crashing down. Instead of us thinking or dwelling in the moment of this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. It is that we embrace that things were, it was necessary for those things, our lives, to come crashing down in order to strip us from the comfortability of what we are used to, in order to make a clean slate of who we are for the Most High God, in order to make us pliable and meable, to be built and to be molded and formed into something better, to accept what it is that is a higher vibration, the next big, best thing in our lives, the next breakthrough, the next chapter in our lives. It's not necessarily, and this is the type of person that I am, and this is why I never fail. I will never fail. I will never falter. Even if I'm not going to say accept demise, even if I go through things and it seems as if my life is very shitty, I always bring myself back to a state of equilibrium. Always, always. Because it is when our lives fall apart that we recognize the most things. Our eyes are awakened, our discernment is top tier, you know. We start noticing things that we never noticed before. We start getting rid of, adding to, but mainly getting rid of, especially when our lives fall apart, we get rid of a lot of things. Think about it as our bodies, our biological clocks being on a seasonal clock. As every season comes in, we remove, we throw away, we get rid of springtime, things like that, summertime feelings, emotions, decor, people. We get rid of those things. Or things may come crashing down to force us to get rid of those things. But nonetheless, it is not meant to tear us down. The divine, the Most High God, I refuse to believe that their purpose is to tear us down to nothingness and never be able to recover. It is sometimes meant to break us down to internal only. Okay, internal only, where it's not nothingness. It appears to be nothingness for people that are used to all their things, whatever those may be, right? Whatever those may be. But when we are broken down, all those things are stripped from us, we are left to face ourselves. And it's not the worst thing. Most people, it's the worst thing ever, without their materials, without their friends, without their cars, their clothes, their everything. But it's not the worst thing in the world. It's meant to awaken us to the fact that it is time for a change, to make room for new, something better, something greater. And unfortunately, for some people, they will fight tooth and nail to keep the old, not realizing that those things are forcefully being removed from our lives in order to allow us to make room for the new, something way, way better, way grander, something that will elevate us, right? So what I did last night in my live, I got rid of the things that I have not been able to really speak to people. I've been saying it, but I don't feel like people are hearing me. I've been saying it and voicing it, but I really don't feel like that it has made a difference. But, Divine is showing me, voice it one last time and make sure that you say it with your chest, say it with power, because we stripped you down to the bare necessities to allow you to see that you need to release all those things. They no longer serve you, right? And not only that, they were made to be stepping stones to build you, to build a strength and character within you that is on the same frequency as what we have coming for you. And so now, whatever happened, happened. I let that shit go last night because I'm making way for what it is that I truly want. And I could care less what anybody says or thinks or feels. I really want my true love. I want to be I want to be the submissive wife. I want to be the wife that irons her husband's clothes, work clothes, get and make extravagant meals and dinners and the dinner parties. And, like, I just want to be like the everything wife for my husband and be the everything mother for my children. I'm ready for my eternal love, period. And I don't feel bad about saying that. There was one point in time, even last week, I can say that I felt kind of shameful for even saying or admitting that because of how much everyone has hurt me. So last night, I released all the pain that came with everyone that has hurt me when they took advantage of my want and my need, my natural innate ability to crave those things and to be that for someone. Not anyone. Now that at first I thought I can be that for anyone. So long as I give all those things to whomever, they're definitely going to reciprocate that with me, right? And then come to find out, I had to be stripped down to bare minimum, be stripped down, be ridiculed, be made fun of, be my face be played in, my head top, whatever, being played on. I had to encounter all those things to realize that, yes, what you want, it's not so far-fetched. It really is not. But you just can't give it to everyone. And that's fine. That's fine. Things falling apart is a kind of testing and also a kind of healing. We think that the point is to pass the test or to overcome the problem. But the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together and they fall apart. Then they come together again and they fall apart again. Natural part of life and a natural part of evolution, collective, is just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. Room for grief, room for relief, room for misery, room for joy. When we think that something is going to bring us pleasure, we don't know what's really going to happen. When we think something is going to give us misery, we don't know. Letting there be room for not knowing is the most important thing of all. We try to do what we think is going to help, but we don't know. We never know if we're going to fall flat or sit up tall. When there's a big disappointment, we don't know if that's the end of the story. It may be just the beginning of a great adventure. Ashe, so mote it be, and so it is. Life is an adventure, is it not, collective? When you look back at things that you thought that you never overcome, do you look back at those things and you're in a better place right now and you say, damn, I thought I never overcome those things. I never thought I would overcome that heartache, that pain, that anything. And look at me now, sitting here smiling with all the things, all the people, surrounded by the love and the everything that I ever wanted. And at one point in time, I thought I would never, sorry, y'all, I thought I would never, freaking A. I thought I would never get to that point. Yay or nay? Yeah, I don't know, freaking A. Like, just let this do what it's gonna do, right? So we damn sure get, sitting right here, right now, all that heartache and stuff, all that people playing in my face and playing me and using me and trying to put me in competition with whores, so they to force me to out whore someone. That shit is over. Look, the world. I'm gonna point. So cycles are over when it comes to that, collective. Embrace what it is that we went through. Embrace where you are now. Embrace where you were. Right? Because you cannot embrace where you are now until you embrace where you were. You can embrace, if you don't embrace the shitty person that you were before, karmic energy, addictions, like materialism, very faithless sometimes or very wavering faith, you cannot acknowledge where you are now. For some of us, quite a few of us, a lot of us, we have been able to overcome those things that we thought we would never overcome. But remember, let's rewind back before that. Before we got to the point where we thought that we could never overcome whatever that particular thing was, we were at a great point. We thought that we were in this energy like, it could never happen to me. It could never happen to me. And then it happened and everything came completely undone. And then you thought that it was a sort of punishment when in fact, those things were meant to just prepare you, strip you down from what you thought you knew, from who you were, the comfortability of who you were, and in order to be able to make you pliable, meable, forge you into something new, something better for what is to come. Because for most of us, let's just say on a physical sense, right? And we don't think supernaturally. We don't know what's to come next, right? But what we do know is that everything that has come before, whatever is coming next, has been a way or a pathway that, or a learning experience, let's say that a learning experience to forge us into a learning experience to reinvent ourselves. It's not some of the things that I thought were the worst things, they're not. There could be worse. I've seen worse on others outside of me in the world. It could be worse. It could. So, this is the energy that we are in. So when I was looking on the phone earlier, I was looking at a particular set of like tarot decks and stuff, and I see the unveiled tarot, and on the character that showed on this particular deck first was a Queen of Swords, and with this unveiled tarot, it shows what's underneath. So the Queen of Swords, we would see them as stealthy, as very having a lot of agility, very quick on their toes. They think a lot. They analyze a lot. They calculate a lot. Right. Very good with their thoughts and also very good with their words, because they analyze so much in their head first before they speak, right? Queen of Swords. But in this particular deck, when it showed the Queen of Swords, it showed everything that she is, but it shows who she is underneath. So you may be a Queen of Swords somewhere in the collective, and underneath the unveiled part of this Queen of Swords, she was like the grieving widow. And it doesn't mean that she has to be grieving a husband or a lover or a partner. It could be that she is grieving the parts of her that she thought that she could control, right? Queen of Swords, thinking a lot, thinking that you may be the type of person where you think that you can control, you can analyze everything such down to a T. And that can be the case most of the time for your life. But when it gets time for the divine to strip you down to nothing, you can't analyze a fucking thing, because you don't know what it is that God and or the divine has in store for you next. A lot of times we have to be stripped down to nothing, collective. Because maybe what we were is not who we are supposed to become, or who we are meant to be. Maybe it no longer fits the narrative of our lives, our characteristics. We need to drop a lot of traits. We need to drop a lot of habits. We need to drop a lot of people. We need to drop a lot of fucking interests, hobbies, stuff like that, because those are our comfortabilities, right? And in those comfortabilities, we all get comfortable, right? And we think there's no need for change. I'm good right here. I'm good right here, divine. I'm good right here, God. Right? But God always wants us to evolve because we can't ascend if we don't evolve, right? And a lot of the times, because of our human nature and the human flaws that are still within us, we fight against, unknowingly most of the time, we fight against becoming someone better. We think we're already the best version of ourselves. We are not. We can always be better tomorrow. The next day, we can be better that day than we were tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? We just don't know these things. So a lot of the times we will go through stripping down, shit falling apart, things seeming like, oh my God, woe is me. This is a midlife crisis. A lot of us go through midlife crisis, right? And then we come out on the other end of that better than ever, stronger than ever, right? Through all those turbulent times, we thought we never make it through. I'm at ground zero. I'm at my fucking bottom. I'll never make it through this. And so long as we depend on the Most High God, we always make it through those things. And then you sit there, right? Let's say in the future, you sit there and you see how much more greater, how much more beautiful life is then or now, right? As opposed to what you thought was the greatest, the most comfortable, right? And you were like, damn, if I would have never been knocked down to size by the Most High God, if I would have never been stripped down to nothing, if things would have never fallen apart, I would have never allowed myself, or I would have never allowed the Most High God to move me in a way that I'm here now. Like I'm back and better than fucking ever. Closing out cycles, okay? So, like I said, I did see a lot of Queen of Swords energy. I also got like grieving widow. You could be just grieving. You don't have to be grieving a marriage or a relationship or partnership. You could be grieving who you were. And maybe you needed to hear this message. Maybe you're feeling like I felt like, oh my God, I'll never have love. I'll never have my person. I just want my person. I'm just be honest. I just want my person. I just want to cook. I just want to clean. I just want to work from home. I just want to be a good mother. I just want to be a great wife, a great mother. I want to have that clean house. I want to throw all the parties. I want to do the holiday shit and the corny Christmas sweaters and all the holiday events and kids games and shit like that. Like, I want to do those things. Like, oh my God, I'll never get that because look at everyone in my past, from now back to my past, everyone has made me look like a fool for even thinking that I could ever have something like that. Like, surely the world is not, you'll never have that. This is what the past wanted me to think, to stay in this energy of being comfortable with what and accepting what the fuck I have been through. And that's not my life. That just showed me, that just built me into a person, or like I said, forged me into a person where I'm tougher, I'm stronger, I'm bigger, I'm better. And now I'm going to go even harder, because all those things did was show me what to not accept in a person, what my person will not look like. So now that I feel like that I am truly ready for my person, like my forever person, right? Now that I feel like I'm truly ready for this, I know all the things that my person will not be. I know all the things that my person will not put me through or do to me, right? And I know all the things to not do to my person as well. Neither one of us will tolerate less than what we know that we want from our person, our forever person, right? Yeah, the Tower. The world with the Tower. I don't even feel like shuffling those ways. Like, one way when I first started, I used to shuffle a certain way. Now I've gotten out of that. That no longer feels like natural or normal to me. This is a lot going on, but we have wish fulfillment here, right? You see, with all these gold eggs, right? What you thought was golden eggs, right? Collective in the past. You see how much more brighter your future is, or your future golden egg is. You see the difference between them? What we once thought were golden eggs, what we once thought was like the ace boom coon, what we once thought was like the bee's knees. It doesn't get any better than this. It gets better. It gets better. And we only know what better is when we are stripped down from what we thought was better to embody or experience what is actually gold. See what I'm saying?
Child, y'all gotta let them come out slowly, divine, slowly. We got justice. We got a lot of like balancing energy out here. Closing of cycles, the tower. And then we got justice here. Yeah, and we got 6 of Wands collective. Beautiful, beautiful energy. You may not look at it as beautiful, but mind you, your frame of mind of what success, what honor, what the best thing in the world, the comfortability, it will change as we move forward. It will change. What we thought was the best thing is no longer the best now. We want better. We want more. But sometimes for a lot of us, because of that ego, it's always because of the ego. And a lot of the times it is because family, 10 of Cups, but it's not, this is not the worst thing in 10 of Cups. This means that you will have success when it comes to being seen or honored by a family, or actually having that true family structure and dynamic that you've always dreamt of. What I once thought was a good family dynamic, but it was not. I was comfortable with that, right? But sitting here now, thinking of the person I have become, the one I have overcome, I look back and what I thought was family. I'm talking about my immediate family, mother, father, children. That was bullshit. And I had to be affected so negatively by the other parent to know that this is not a fucking family at all. What I tolerated is something that should never be tolerated by a person, right? I should never have tolerated anything like that in the name of me having a family, in the name of me having a family structure, in the name of me being what it is I have always wanted to be. A great mother and a great wife and a great pillar of the community, a great servant of God. These are the things that I want. If you ask me my deepest, darkest, or my deepest hidden, not darkest, but my deepest hidden feelings, desires, those would be it. That's what I want. And I tolerated so much because I thought if I tolerated that bullshit, that eventually I would get exactly what it is that I want. But all those things did, although they tore me the fuck down, all they did was teach me what they are not. What it is that I really want, my deepest desires, they don't look like that. But I had to go through that. I had to be torn down from that in order for me to realize that these aren't my desires. These are the things, the lessons, the teachings that are meant for me to learn something from, to differentiate, to establish a certain level of respect for myself and a level of tolerance, amongst other things, amongst other things. Spirit just won't let me, let me just ask the question first, Spirit. Yeah, the star in the reverse. We got, this is unhealed. We got 10 of Cups with the star in the reverse. Family don't always mean healed. Just because you have a full family dynamic does not mean that is the family dynamic that is meant for you. This is for somebody. You could be a Queen of Swords and maybe you need to know this and or hear this. A family dynamic, having like mother, father, the children, both of y'all live in the same household, y'all both work. That doesn't mean that you have healed your family dynamic and or structure and or generational curses when it comes to toxic family dynamics. Perspective. It's all about perspective. But you don't know this, right? You don't know this until you experience better. Until this type of dynamic, what you thought was the best, until you're torn down from that. Only for you to be able to see that wasn't what you thought it was. But then you learn, eventually we come to a point where we learn from that. And then we actually get that. And we like, oh, this is the difference. But how do we know the difference if we don't experience the opposite of something, what we thought it was? I talk about universal laws all the time. The universal law of polarity. Things are not different. They are merely the same things on the opposite extreme ends of the spectrum. You either have an opposite positive, or I'm sorry, you have either have an extreme positive or you have an extreme negative. We don't know what negative is unless we go through positive, and vice versa. But these things are meant as lessons, right? To even us out. We experience extreme negatives. We experience extreme positives. But only then, when we experience these things, are we able to balance back and forth between the two, but to where eventually we come to the point of neutrality. Okay? We have experienced enough of each extreme to be able to even our lives out, so that we know exactly how to fine tune our lives. Whatever it is that you want. You don't have to want a family dynamic or a relationship like I do. Like, I want a career too. That the family dynamic and relationship and the husband wife, like my eternal love. You know what I mean? Like my protector, my guarder, my guider, my everything, right? My confidant, my friend, my homie, my everything, right? I had to experience all the things what I thought that looked like that was not it, but I had to experience that to know what it should look like or what is not tolerable. Okay? It's sort of like a weaning out of what we do not need or what no longer serves us, right? So negative events, they don't make me turn into like a monster. They allow me to become like they just strengthen me, okay? The Empress here. But yeah, I want to be a person, I want to have a long-term career. If my career calls for me to be in a partnership, then so be it. And my marriage will, if my career benefits for my marriage and vice versa, so be it, right? And then we have Three of Cups, connections. We're talking about celebrations, the Empress. We're talking about new life, fertile life, fertility. What is birthed forth from the lessons that come from the perspective of what we once thought as the healed family structure or dynamic. Got to go through it go through it to grow through it. These are coming out in threes. So 3 is very significant for somebody out there in the collective. We have 3 of Cups with the 2 of Cups, right? And then we have at the present moment. So we're talking about being in gratitude right now, right? And right now, I surely can say, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was fearful. I got kind of shaky. I was getting kind of shaky about getting into a connection or relationship. Today, I say I'm ready for my forever partner, because I actually mean that. My heart is open. I have released the things that hurt my heart, broke my heart. The people that played in my face, the people that counted me out, the people that didn't, they overlooked me. I'm over that. Last night was my last spat, let's say that, of releasing the hurt and the pain from those things of the past, all on account of me wanting to love and be loved. Fine, they happened. Today, I can say, after last night, I can say, they happened, fine. Moving forward, I want my forever person. I will not accept less than that. And I know what my forever person does look like. I mean, not physically, but in an emotional sense and in a spiritual sense. I know what that person looks like. I know what they are not. I know what they are. But I only know what they are based off of everything that I went through that tore me down from the people that are not, that I once thought were. I hope I'm not talking in riddles, y'all, because I can talk in the riddles like that's me. Well, that's what I do. That's what I do. In the present moment, embody your own power. We have the Empress. Justice with the Empress. Inspiration of Pentacles. You look, whatever it is that, whatever new journey it is that you're going into, Queen of Swords collective, if you're a Queen of Swords, King of Swords, masculine embodying feminine energy, vice versa, take it as it resonates. Only take it as it resonates. These are general readings. Okay. The power that you embody is going to be the power that brings forth financial gains and opportunities. Pentacles don't have to just be money. It could be financial gains. It could be opportunities that make way for other things. The more you recognize the lesson, the more you recognize the blessing. The more you embody your own power through these lessons, the more you embody your power to make room or make way or forge your own blessings, create your own blessings as well. God gives us the power. It says all throughout the Bible, the Quran. I don't know what else it is that everyone, studies or practices or reads religiously, but it says that the power, Jesus Christ, whatever, it said with the God instilled the power of everything that we need within us. This is talking about personal power, but our personal power cannot be, it cannot be recognized. It cannot be embodied. It cannot be strengthened until we go through the things that we know that were not what we wanted. We thought they were, but we were not in our own personal power. We didn't have, so to speak, control of, not in a narcissistic way, control. And when it comes to how we embodying our own personal power, how we allow situations to play out. So now that we know that that's not it, now we step into our own personal power, and then using that personal power, we create and pave the way and room and make room for the blessings that it is that we want. God only wants us to do that. That's the only thing that the Most High God wants us to do is know thyself. The personal power, the tools that are within you, the greatness that is within you, the faith, the belief, the supernatural abilities, the spiritual powers and gifts. It is all within us. But we would never, had it not been for us being torn down in situations, we would never know that we are the manifestors of our own destinies. So, I mean, collective, they just won't let me, synchronicity is in the reverse. So we have Six of Wands perspective and synchronicity in the reverse. Where we thought we were, come on now, Spirit, like where we thought we were, like, we had it. This is it. This is the bee's knees. We got it together. This is just like, like that's not even it. And I love telling my children that. I used to be so fearful. And even now, I'm going to say still, I'm quite fearful of my children seeing me as a weak mother, as a weak parental figure, as a weak woman, as a weak human being, right? And I used to work so diligently and so hard to give them everything that they wanted, but that didn't make them see me as someone strong or with agility or with thinking. That didn't allow them to see my genius. That didn't allow them to see how much I love them. It was them. I realize now, because I'm seeing it in my children. They recognize me for the woman that my children recognize me as the woman that overcame. Okay. They recognize me It's not as the shitty person, the shit that I went through. They recognized me as their mom that's here now, that overcame all that shit that was meant to tear me down. When I thought I was doing everything for them, giving them everything, providing everything for them, just letting them get away with any fucking thing, I thought I was the best mother ever. No, the best mother that I can be today, better than that, is the mother where I can show my children you can fucking overcome anything, because I know that they see me. I know that they see me at my worst. Drug addicted, abusive relationship, losing everything, fucking utilities getting cut the fuck off. And this is after the fact. This is after me giving them everything. But I know that they see, I know that how they behave, even the way I see them stand up for themselves, even the way I see them communicate with people, how they are fearless in everything they do. Even when they speak, they voice their opinions to me. They used to be scared of me and fearful of me. Today, they voice their opinions, like in a way where it's like, fuck that shit. Like, Mom, I'm going to tell you what I feel. And I be so like, that makes me a good mother. Children don't know how to tell you that they're so proud of you, like, but you can see it in their eyes. You can see it. They're happy when you're happy, and you're happy when they're happy. Ten of Cups, the Star in the reverse, Five of Swords, competition, competitive, competing, or this could be fighting through unhealed family dynamics, generational curses, situations, fighting through that shit. Even though every single opportunity or part of environment that is presented to you or that you are faced with, it has to do with unhealed family dynamics. We really, 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 really underestimate how important and powerful these generational curses are, and the role that they play on everyone that is to come. I don't want to get back to the old me. I want to get past and beyond that, collective. So, so it is so funny. Create a fire with the empowerment. That's the top card. Empowerment. Sorry. Empowerment, and reframe what your real power is, what true power is, what true personal power is, We're going to do this. And because we had to cut it short yesterday and then last night was quite toxic. Called it what the fuck it was. We are going to do some mindful messages, probably 3 or 4 from each deck, and some spirit junkie messages. But I definitely picked up on a Queen of Swords energy. You may need to hear this. You may need to know this. Can you not be better? Are you your greatest? No. We're never our, let's say this, we're our greatest for a temporary moment, but we're never our greatest. We strive towards greatness and perfection. We become greater and greater and greater and greater. Divine, please give me messages from this particular deck to give to the collective. Somebody needs to hear this. And these decks, I don't take any in the reverse. So we have a rebirth, death and a rebirth, okay? An opportunity for deep transformation is before you. And y'all, I got new index cards and new permanent markers. So we're coming with the divine messages with these. This is gonna be my divine words deck. We don't know what it's going to. It's written in gold. So pretty, so pretty, so pretty, so pretty, so pretty. So, anyways, we don't know what's gonna come out, but period. Something, whatever the divine tells me to write. I have 2 of those, so stay tuned. Your path. Dear Most High God, I'm not saying Lord, dear Most High God, help me trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see through my fears and illusions. Being reborn through the tearing down of you. It's not the worst thing. I seen this card. I was waiting on it to come out. I've been seeing this in my mind's eye all day. Speaking out. Speaking your life into existence after a rebirth, forging your path of what you want life to be. Your voice is released. Express yourself frankly. And then we have Spirit of Earth. Have faith. You are supported. Okay. And if you don't have any physical support collective, I support you. Okay. Shade the Dual Alchemists. I support your dark natures and your light natures. Doesn't matter. And the divine, the Most High God supports us always and forever. Always, 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 always. Okay. Trust. Allow me, divine, to give you my deepest longings, trusting you to know exactly how to handle them. Hi. You were running in the rain? Why he looking like that? He must have got in trouble at school. Inner child, allow me to give compassion and love to that little one. Let me attend to his deepest needs and feelings. Okay, y'all. Let me get 2 more and then I'll end the recording. Mommy duties. Reframe. This is happening for me, not to me. Oh yeah, Caleb and Kaya said tutoring. Here I come. Last one, sisterhood. So you may need to be connecting Queen of Swords. I've seen a Queen of Swords. You may need to connect to other women now. Maybe you steer clear of that or steered away from connecting with other women because of how women in your life have betrayed you. But sisterhood, initiate a new sister's adventure with people that you have come into new connections with. Collective, I'm gonna have to end that here. My daughter's home, so I'm gonna have to check on her. We're gonna come back for another one later, okay? And as I always like to say, don't let this world define you, define yourself like I define me, because I'm your girl, me by V. That's the alter ego, aka Shay, the dual alchemist. I'll see you guys on another one. Okay, what